What's up, everybody? Ooh, I need one of those like air horn things that go like bam, 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 bam. I need a soundboard with just buttons everywhere. All right, we're back again. Stream number 47. You know what it is. Actually, you probably don't because nobody watches me anyway. But this is my stream. This is number 47, and I'm going to be painting and reacting and more painting and more reacting. And then, see, I keep saying I'm going to play Path of Exile on stream, but then I end up not doing it. So I'm just not going to say it. But that might be a possibility. Let's see if I absolutely ruined my brushes this time by leaving them in the water again. This one's cooked. Did I just say cooked? I need to get offline. All right. What are we gonna use? What are we using? What are we using? What was I using to do the black? Anyway, God damn, I have cotton mouth so bad. See, I knew I'd forget something. Where did that? Oh, this one? Ugh, definitely not that one. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know what was in that other one. It's like the plague. My snake is just like staring at me right now. It is not time for food. Why are you all essed up like that? Oh, you're sleeping. Never mind. All right. Sorry for my rambling. All right, we're gonna watch some YouTube. I'm gonna paint, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. That is my plan now. Is that you? Is that bright enough? If this was tilted, uh, no, it's bright enough. Okay, it's fucking bright enough. And if it's not, that's the aesthetic. Let's like that. All right, let's do this shit. And I figured out how to do that. Ooh. All right, let's not get too political. Whoa, I am not even touching it. What the fuck? Whoa, chill. Oh, that was weird. Okay, what do we want to watch? Why don't we just hit roulette? Uh, ice. Ukraine attacks in Kursk. Fuck it, let's watch this.
Both Putin and Kim Jong-un said that their elite forces were going to be seizing back Kursk from the Ukrainians. Then why is Ukraine on the attack? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. Let's talk about this breaking story. Okay, so this is a pretty wild story as Ukraine has launched a new offensive in the Kursk region. And this is notable because essentially, since taking Kursk in the September timeframe, Ukraine has limited its offensive actions to small, highly localized counterattacks meant to seize very specific objectives. For example, let's see if I can pull it up here. The one example would be in the north here, there was some Ukrainian counterattacks to kind of prevent a Russian attack happening, I think in this kind of Andriivka area. But you see, other than small localized attacks like that, there's not really been any major offensive action by the Ukrainians. And in fact, the Russians argued that Ukraine wasn't capable of offensive action, that the Russian forces had been steadily pushing the Ukrainians into a smaller and smaller salient around Kursk. And this is correct, right? From the initial invasion where you saw Ukrainian forces up to like Koronivo, and in some places, I think up to probably the Solotskoye you're seeing a much smaller total area that they hold, but this doesn't mean, again, that the Ukrainians were on the ropes necessarily. And this is important for a couple of reasons. The first of which is that Russia's defense ministry, of course, has very publicly said that we are retaking Kursk. And it was an important propaganda victory for Russia. Or for the Kremlin to prove to the Russian public that they are indeed still winning, totally 100% winning in Ukraine. And
That's
again,
crazy.
while the actual size of what the Kremlin is claiming is the assault is relatively small, just 2 tanks, a mine clearing vehicle, and 12 armored fighting vehicles, in all likelihood, this is one of a series of pushes that Ukraine is conducting, right? Now, military bloggers are saying the Ukrainian launched from Suja towards the villages of Berdin and Soldatskoye, a district center on the way to Kursk City. Right? Of course, the Ukraine presidential office only cryptically saying there was good news from the Kursk region and Russia was getting what it deserves, right? Now, there's some rumors that Russia itself is on the counterattack in its own right, what might be thought of as a spoiling attack. But before we break down kind of where exactly this attack is taking place, what I think the Ukrainian strategy is, and most importantly, why this is so infuriating for Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, I want to mention real quick, guys, combat vet news. You guys know I cover some controversial topics here. That's putting it lightly. And so I don't get many sponsors. So I depend on you guys
Yeah,
to
that's gotta
support me.
suck.
But if you want to see my uncensored combat video analysis, including the most recent video was my breakdown of the viral knife fight that just dropped and is going wild on social media. That is available
Bro, a
for
knife
members
fight?
at Combat Vet
Oh
News. So the
shit.
link is always in the description.
Oh no, no, you're good, dude. I wasn't on for a while. How was your New Year? Happy New Year, by the way. I haven't been on for a bit. I only came on like once, I think, really after Christmas. I've been trying to take it easy. I actually have COVID right now, which is ridiculous, but yeah, everybody in my family got it. So it's been, I've been fine. My mom's got it probably the worst. My daughter also got it, but she was like fine too. But how was your New Year's? Oh, thank you, dude. Oh, that sounds sick. Yeah, it was like it was weird. There was really like absolutely nothing to do around here because um it it was like pretty good weather up until like I think it was like 10 o'clock at night that it was scheduled to I mean yeah, it was like scheduled to rain. So it basically poured right through midnight. So I ended up just falling asleep early. But yeah, I was actually kind of surprised I had it because I haven't really. I think I've only gotten it like once officially, like actually tested, but I can't even remember because of how crazy the past 4 years have been. Thank you for stopping by, though. I was hoping you were all good too because I know you were sick for a bit, but um, yeah, I'm glad you got to come out or come on. I mean. Tomorrow is my first day back at school. I love to go back. Seeing that girl wants me to. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up. That's what I was saying. I was trying to explain to my daughter what a New Year's resolution was, and I was basically coming up with mine at the same time. But yeah, I am really trying to, because I think mine last year was like to get my teeth fixed, and I'm in the process of that right now. But actually, yeah, I had an appointment today and they had to reschedule it to tomorrow again. It's annoying, but whatever. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, man. As long as you believe in yourself, dude, you got this. I can tell just by reading how you know, how you've been talking about, I don't know, like getting better, you know, like making yourself feel better, or like working out and stuff. Like that's what I need to do too, is try to work out. But yeah, dude, you got this. And I mean, even if the girl doesn't work out, believe me, man, it might seem like you know, the only one out there, but there's so many out there. So you never know. All right, I'm gonna, man, putting black on this is so freaking nerve-wracking. Here, you know what? I'm gonna throw something a little more not war. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, man, this one's been taking forever, but I think now that I'm putting the black on, it's gonna start really popping and the colors are gonna start popping. Yeah, it's coming out sick. I'm pretty excited about this one. I'm gonna do a really cool thing to the black background. Oh, I appreciate that, man. That's what I was thinking. Like, it'd be cool to, you know, like even for myself to have, like, I can go back and like basically watch how I've made this painting. I mean, I've done a lot off stream too, but yeah, it's actually really cool to see the progress. Thank you. All right, so let's see. Alien attack or tall tale? Oh, that's that eclipse. Uh, uh, man, really not that much on here. Hold on, let's reset. Do 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 do. Ooh, all right, I'm gonna throw this on.
What's up, guys? Welcome
Actually,
back
hold
to
on. Any advice to talk to that girl tomorrow, bro? Yeah, man. That's the only advice I can give you. Just be yourself, and you know, I think the more authentic you are, the more, you know, any person can sense that, you know? So if you really just try to talk to her on like you know, just a human level, I think that helps just kind of calm everything down. But yeah, just be yourself. Don't overthink it. It'll go fine.
Newswave. So over this weekend, we did have a mini Nintendo Direct, a Reddit Nintendo Direct. This has happened quite a bit where images of Nintendo's unannounced system have just appeared online. And once again, it's happened this time, though,
I'm so
giving
excited
us
for
maybe some
this.
insight into one of the big features for this platform. We'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Sony and the idea of them once
Hmm,
again looking backwards to some of their older
how
intellectual
should I do
properties.
this?
Some of these ones they're working on now apparently being more deep cuts. And then
This
we have
side and
another
then that
blow to
side.
VR, this time though involving Apple and apparently them
Is that
struggling to
on the
sell a very
piece?
expensive Vision Pro. Go figure. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members of the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below. And we're going to start today with some software for the Switch 2. And while we've spent a lot of
Oh,
hardware
software.
discussion and images and stuff, of course, we are still looking forward to some of the games that maybe could even be shown at the very first presentation for this device. Well, it looks like we may have one actually coming off of a developer's profile over on LinkedIn, which we can see over on VGC, as they are citing DocTray81, who spotted a developer claiming to have worked on Gotham Knights. Yeah, two unannounced platforms. One of those apparently being the Switch, the other one now believed to be the Switch 2. Yeah, I don't know how else to dress this up. It's Gotham Knights. It's not a game I really liked
Yeah, my
that much.
mouth
I
is
kind of
so
fell out of it
dry.
after playing it a bit. It got very tedious, and it just didn't click to me with what I was hoping to get out of a new Batman game, a new Arkhamverse style game. It just, to me, it just wasn't very good. I guess the bare minimum, it'll be interesting to see this game running on the Switch 2, considering the PS4 and the Xbox One versions had to be left behind because it was just too intensive for those platforms. And then on the PS5 and the Xbox Series, didn't exactly run the best there either, as it was capped at 30 FPS. So that's the best way I can dress it up for you. It could be a pretty interesting tech demo for Nintendo's next system. Also, we do have Nvidia going later on tonight to announce some different video cards, which have also been leaking out online ahead of CES. One was the RTX 5080. The other one being their big flagship card, that being the 5090. When I say big, it's, but we saw the 4090. Get ready for this one, which we can see this is over on video cards.
Ridiculous.
And they have this citing 32 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory. So we're looking at twice as much as what we had in like the 4080, for example, and the 5080, which is 16 gigabytes. So I mean, look, we've talked about how like just VRAM in general, it's certainly something that is being taxed more and more now with not only games but also applications. So to see 32 gigabytes of GDDR7, again, double what's in the 5080, as we saw some of the packaging there, is what you'd expect from a card that has like a TDP of 575 watts, some ridiculous size. It's like a 3.5 slot card, and what we assume to be an eye-watering price that I wouldn't be shocked if they show up and it is legitimately a $2,000 video card. It's not really one that.
Yeah, bad bite him up. Maybe I want it. Hell yeah, man! Thank you. I'll yeah, if I'm on tomorrow, man, stop by. But thank you for stopping by always. I'm glad I got to talk to you, man. Happy New Year. And remember, don't worry. Just be yourself.
Most people would technically need, but still, I'm sure many people will buy it just to play like the latest game at 4K, hopefully 120 or 144, but we'll see how all of that goes down in the benchmarks, as Nvidia should be moving to announce it and try to sell everyone on it later on tonight, and that should also come with DLSS 4, so a lot for them to talk about later on. We'll see what they have. Oh, and if you're someone who had Mighty Number 9 for the 3DS, pre-ordered through Amazon, you may want to check your email because they're actually canceling them now. This I saw noted over on Go Nintendo, and this is, I mean, it's a long time coming. I'm actually shocked Amazon was still holding out hope that this thing was going to release, as I feel like people just moved on. I mean, it came out, what, 2016, and it even hit the Wii U at the time because they had certain goals that were met for funding on the Kickstarter or the crowdfunding, and it was supposed to go to the 3DS. It just never did. So, hey, if you had a pre-order in through Amazon, go ahead and check that to make sure it was canceled. And I guess you got whatever pre-order money you got back, depending on how much was put down, I guess, there, if any. And then I can kind of close the book on Mighty Number 9, which is just an incredible situation all the way around. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with that Nintendo Switch 2, with more images getting out there. And I know we've discussed the Switch 2 or Nintendo's next gen. It looks pretty sick quite a bit, but I mean, the information is kind of being trickle-fed right now online as just...
It does look pretty sick. I loved the original Switch. I was like an early adopter. I got the first one right when it came out. And I actually don't have one anymore. I don't have any Switches, but I had a Switch Lite at one point too. And that actually makes me wonder, so is all my games still there? Like, if I get a new Switch, I can just download all the games that I bought, right? Wow, I never even thought of that. I have like hundreds of dollars of Switch games on my like Nintendo account. I should probably use one. I didn't click of that. Damn, man. Actually, I should just wait till the Switch 2 comes out. I still can't believe I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here that they're calling it the Switch 2. That seems bananas to me. For a company like Nintendo. It's weird. I don't know. Unless it's like some big elaborate ruse with the leaks. But it really does seem like it's just Switch 2. Unless that's the whole thing. Switch 2, like you're switching to something. But it does look like on the Joy-Cons that it has an optical, like it looks like it has two optical lasers or something like that. And people were saying that it would work like a mouse, so maybe against something like that. Or what I was thinking was that the dock or the top. Oh, you know what? I don't know if anybody said this, but in one of the things I saw, they said that in the dock, it was surprising how much the screen popped out from the dock. And I was trying to think of like why they would do that. And I thought it was just because the size was bigger. But no, what if there's an integrated light bar in the top of the Switch screen? And in those Joy-Cons, you're basically doing the same thing as a Wii. Because that is one thing that was always missing with the Switch was that there was no act like it was gyro tracking, right? I bet that's what they're doing. Because it looks like a bunch of IR things, or it could be like a mouse thing where they're going like both of them are on the table like that. I don't know. Let's see. I should shut up
Images,
then.
yes, but very carefully taken images. So there are some where we don't have the full scope of even the Joy-Con, but we have enough to go on to see potentially a pretty big feature that Nintendo could be introducing here when it comes to the control scheme, the input, which I gotta say, it could actually lead to some pretty cool things here from Nintendo and also some pretty wacky, off the wall things that, okay, maybe a couple of developers will end up using it in the end. But let's take a look at some of the images here, because yes, they did show up on Reddit once again. These apparently were pulled from just a Chinese website and forum as well. So it made the rounds social media wise there, and then found its way over onto Reddit, which we can see starting with the first one here, where we do have the new Joy-Con with kind of that blue accent there on the rail facing us. We have that magnetic power connector that we've heard so much about now, where we have that latch at the top that will then remove it,
Magnets.
not up or down technically, but just completely out and away from the system. We also have SL and SR, which appear to be much larger than the current SL and SR, so that will help, I assume, then with just single Joy-Con play. But also the Joy-Con itself is just larger, so there'll be more Joy-Con technically to hold when you turn it sideways and use it there
I
for
bet they're
select
releasing
Joy-Con
two
play.
models at
We
the
still have
same
the
time.
sync button, it looks like. And then one other interesting part here. Now, people, of course, zoomed in and then compared it and said, hold on a minute. That looks like an optical sensor that
It
we would
is.
have in a mouse. So looking at that, and then also look at the top and the bottom of the rail. It's almost like pads that are there to kind of glide and make it so that there's less friction when you move around, similar to a
Well,
mouse.
they said the
So then people started
magnets
to
were a
think, okay, hold on a
button.
minute. What if that's the bottom, you turn it on its side when you're using it in this mouse play? It's the left Joy-Con, so then think of it there in your right hand. Yeah, technically, then you'd have the trigger, the back, would
I
that
don't
be
think
just
it's for.
the back
I
button
don't
there?
know.
And so if it's on the left side, that'd be L and then SL, right? That would kind of fit in nicely to where you would click with your left, and then you click the right bumper there as the right click on the mouse. It also makes me wonder if somehow one of those two would also be a scroll wheel potentially, and that would be very interesting for input. Sure, people are thinking first person shooter right away. I'm kind of thinking maybe RTS, like Civ games, could be kind of cool. Maybe if there's another Roller
Oh,
Coaster Tycoon at some point in the future, or just really any title like that. Now, when flipped around the back here, there are markings, which does
why
legitimize
didn't
this
they
quite a
show the
bit, because
front? That's
you
the
can read
weirdest
all kinds
part.
of information there that would
Like they're
typically be
just
with your different
teasing.
Joy-Cons, even down to where you have like a serial number and you have the model number, which people did go through and drop it into the warranty fields, and it didn't necessarily kick back an error. However, it was noted technically you can do that with a couple of different combinations of letters and numbers, and it will also not kick back an error. Unsure if necessarily that proves it, but the fact that they have all this etching done on
Oh,
the back,
it looks
it does
official.
look like sort of what's been described so far. It
It
would,
could be
once
a
again,
prototype
be a very
too.
difficult thing to fake. And, looking at this, I know people are going to say, oh, it's still using the joysticks from the Joy-Con, so they're kind of like, they're not full joysticks, right? But I just don't really think Nintendo is going to go the route of let's put these full-size joysticks on there because that will just
I
take up
think
more
they're Hall
space
effect, though.
overall. And we still need to see maybe some advancements or just improvements they've made to the internals there, as even Hall effect sensors have sort of been floated as an idea. We've also had some side-by-side comparisons. Like here's one, for example, that I saw was posted on Reddit and then reposted over on Twitter X. And you can, once again, just see the size of this Joy-Con here trying to measure up and get the dimensions as best as possible versus the current Joy-Con. So
why does
I
the
think
trigger look so
be a bit
fucking
easier
weird
to use in split Joy-Con play, where you'll have, one in the left hand, one in the right hand, just because it is larger. That's an issue I run into with the current Joy-Cons, is that they're just so small.
Yeah.
It's just very difficult to, I think, hold on to them for too long, because you just have your entire hand and fingers wrapped all the way around. There's just not a lot of volume there technically to use when you're playing. And
they better
finally,
make a special edition.
Had a bit of a mock-up here, because if you remember, we had that orange sort of accent when the other person zoomed in. The next handheld zoomed in, and we had the C button there with the home. So we know that apparently the right has orange accent, the left has sort of that blue, again fitting into kind of the neon Joy-Cons that we've had previously. And then
it's
apparently
cool that they click
the ring
like that.
around the joystick will also have that same color accent. So gray and blue, and then gray and orange, which, yeah, it doesn't look bad or anything. I don't know if that's going to be just the control, like the color scheme they have going forward.
Bro, I don't get it.
And then they'll change out those accents.
Like, why wouldn't they just go with the colors of the original Nintendo? Like, I don't get it. That would sell so much better. Maybe that's going to be like a special edition, but like, if they did that as the base, like, that would be so sick. I don't know. I think they're missing with the color scheme
Specifically,
here.
and that's as far as they'll go to customize it. I mean, it's not bad. I do kind of like how the entire Joy-Con itself has the colors changed out for any of the ones that have come out, and those were just black accents. I think they pop a bit more than something like this, considering those railings will technically be covered up when it is on the Switch and set up in handheld mode. And then one other thing here, we seem to have some corroboration around the 8nm process for the Switch chip. Remember, that was a conversation going around 5 or 4nm versus 8, and it seems that Digital Foundry sources are also claiming that it is indeed 8nm. Now, that's something I believe that'll be going up this week, a video of theirs, but that's at least kind of the word going around now, which, again, the entire thing about the process it's fabricated on and stuff, I know people are concerned around the idea of battery life being an issue, heat, what are the clock speeds going to be. We're still just missing a lot of information on that front, so I wouldn't jump to too many conclusions just based on it being 8nm. Let's see what they have to show us in terms of the games and everything else around that, and then we can judge the thing wholly. And hopefully that means that Nintendo is preparing to announce this thing soon. Part of this, I see this come up online. It's like, well, look, they've waited so long to announce it. And yes, they have. They really, really have. They're supposed to announce at the end of March. We're, a week into January now, and it's like, okay, Nintendo, clearly this thing is being put together and manufactured right now in the factory. You had to assume this was going to happen. Let's get the show on the road here with this system. Everyone's kind of hanging out and waiting, and now we're even having Reddit basically introduce the entire system to us. The next step, I feel like, is someone's going to turn the thing on and show it online.
Yeah, I know. They need to get ahead of it.
When that
I don't know why.
Next up, let's talk about Sony. As many people have been hoping that maybe they'd also look backwards, as they do have a bunch of current IPs and franchises they're working to build up, but they also have such a wealth of just older games and series that seem to have been kind of lost to time now.
Dude,
I think it's really fun to see new entries, or even just them remembering to the point where they'll put a 60 FPS patch on Bloodborne. But okay, that aside, this was actually a quote that was taken out of VGC's podcast, and it was from Andy Robinson. You can see it says, "I know of a couple that they're working on, like the deep cut old IP stuff, kind of in the mold that you're talking about, like Fat Princess. Really, maybe some smaller games supplementing their big releases. Now, when I hear this, I think, okay, small
Huh?
releases. That is kind of hard to gauge there because we don't necessarily know the budget
What
that
do
it
you
would take
mean?
to recreate some of these games. Like, are we talking, okay, Fat Princess, maybe Vib Ribbon? They try to reimagine that. Are we talking about Patapon? That could work, I think, at a smaller budget. Or would they be willing to go up to maybe a medium-sized budget with a Legend of Dragoon, which that would take I think that'd take a bit of money. I feel like you'd have to reinvent that somewhat.
Bro, they need
And
to
let's
bring
face it,
back.
with the way
Well, I guess there's a Turok movie coming out, but they need to bring back Turok, Twisted Metal. Um, oh fuck, what was that Mars game where everything? What was it? Red Faction, bro. What happened to those games? Red Faction, Turok. They should make an updated Vector Man. That'd be dope. Uh, Like that's just a handful of ones that I know of. I mean, I know it's probably because they're like, oh, like contractual bullshit hell thing, but it would be cool. Dude, there's other games too that like I always think about, and I'm like, why? Like, if they made a new version of that, it would fucking kill. If they did it, obviously you got to do it right, but I still can't believe GTA, man. Maybe they're gonna release a trailer soon, another one, but I just remember before, like, I think it was before Vice City came out, I would buy all those magazines that would have like the leaks in it, kind of, or like the preview of like what was coming and like the new features and stuff, and I'd be so freaking excited. I miss that type of gaming. I guess that doesn't really exist anymore. Waiting and relying all night for a video game to come out, but God, dude, what's another game that I'm trying to think of that's from like the N64, Sega Genesis era? Um, Vector Man, Bomberman. I feel like they've made a new Bomberman game. Um, Bomberman, Vector Man, um, Man, just Man. What else? Oh, Killzone. Killzone, dude. I played the shit out of Killzone, and I completely forgot about that game until like I was watching. I forget who else's stream. It was somebody else's stream, and they started talking about it. And the second they said Killzone, I was like, wait, Killzone? And then it just flooded back to me, like the fucking hundreds of hours I put into it. But yeah, dude, I think Killzone. I can't. I have such a bad memory, but I think Killzone 2 or was there a third Killzone? I can't even remember, but I think it was PlayStation 3 and the fucking PlayStation Network went down. And I think that was probably the last game I played on PlayStation, like as an owner, because I got rid of my PlayStation 3 like immediately and got a 360 because I was so mad about the stupid freaking PSN going down that time. And it went down for like a month or maybe more than a month, maybe. That shit was annoying. But it was free online, so you couldn't really complain, which was really stupid. All right. Sorry for all the rambling. I'm an idiot.
the industry's gone, it would probably become more of an action RPG than anything else. Dark Cloud is another one, and some of these games, Sony owns the IP, the intellectual property, but they've had other developers create, other companies develop it, even like Level 5, for example. But still, they could do something with Dark Cloud, could do something with Rogue Galaxy. That would be an awesome one to see return in some way. Or maybe just go pretty straightforward and do another racing game that's more arcadey in nature, and you just go full-on MotorStorm, which I think that would actually be a lot of fun to see the destruction and how they can take advantage of the DualSense controller with a game like that, and even the online play really leaning into it.
Oh my god, could you imagine Red Faction with today's like amount of like particle physics and shit? Oh my god, that'd be so sick. That game was so ahead of its time, being able to destruct everything. Like I would just sit, I would spend hours just like walking around trying to level every single building in the game. That needs to come back. Freaking destructible environments. Like truly destructible environments. Like I want to be able to level a building with like a bomb or something, you know? In a video game. In a video game. Wow, that sounded horrible. In a video game. Talking about video games. Video games, video games. Whoopsie. Alright.
Potentially having shades of live service thrown in there. Look, we're just trying to sell it to Sony at this point. Let's get the...
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up another window. And we're gonna do some Googling while I'm doing this. We're multitasking, baby. Oh shit, what'd I do? Oh. I'm going incognito because I've learned from my mistakes. Bro, does the attention system still work? Hold on, watch us. It still works. That's hilarious. Oh man. Oh fuck, what did I do? Oh, whew. I thought I fucked. Okay, so we're doing. What am I doing? Oh, okay, internet. Here we go. Property. Nope, nope. That's not what we want. We want. Man, my mom is like coughing a lung up. Okay, here we go. Window capture. Yes. Select window to capture. Incognito tab. Capture audio? No? Okay. You've gone incognito, baby. Oh, look it. It works. Okay. So let's see. We're gonna just put this like that for now. Well, I'm doing this. All right, hold on. I have to pee. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, you guys get to enjoy this this new on break thing I have. I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to go to the potty. All right. I'm still painting. I just wanted to look this shit up while, because I feel like it's weird when I'm like looking stuff up that I want to show on here, but you can't see it. It just looks like I'm going like, all right, I'm gonna stop talking again. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Um, you know what? That doesn't work, right? All right, hold on a second. I don't know how other people do this, but it freaks me out because is my history still? God damn it, it is. All right. Even if you're incognito, the history's still fucking there. I just don't want everybody to see my fucking history, you know what I mean? Maybe that's fucking annoying. Why did what? Fuck you just clear your history. Wait, are getting rid of cookies bad? It's a joke. It was a joke. Okay, I think that worked. I hope. Oh, I'm nervous. All right. I don't want anybody to fucking hack me. That's what I'm worried about. All right. Let's try that again. Google Chrome, baby. I got that Google Chrome, baby. All right.
The thing greenlit. Sometimes you got to put live service at the end to
Now,
get
what
them
was
to
I
okay
looking
it and
for?
write the check. But either way, I do like the idea of having these games kind of that mid-tier level in terms of budget. Doesn't have to be $300 million every single time for a game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you get a game like Astrobot that I think does fit in nicely and you charge 50 or 60 bucks for it, and it is more of a risk, quote unquote, although Astrobot I think was pretty straightforward, and then it's a high quality 3D platformer, and there are people who are open to that. I think if you grab some of these lesser known IPs and try to build them up, it can also work outside of games. And we've seen Sony really make a push for things with streaming and other movies. So maybe they can find a gem here that's been left behind and really market it and then turn it into all kinds of other streams of revenue. But that's something we should expect from Sony now, apparently going forward, because we've heard quite a few people mention it now. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Apple and their struggles in VR. Now, they have their Vision Pro, which $3,500. I will say that from the people who have shown it off and some of the things it can do, like in a vacuum, where you don't have to spend that much money on it, it's actually pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't mind having one just to use it and check it out and see all the cool things it can do, where you walk through your house and if you leave something in the living room, like a window open, and then you go downstairs, you come back up, it's still there in the same place and maybe even playing things on it. It's like that idea of augmented reality is very intriguing. The price point, though, is a massive barrier of entry, and it seems like they're feeling that now. We can see this, though, posted up. This is over on Overclocked, saying, according to a report from The Information, Apple has stopped producing its $3,500 Vision Pro headset. Apple is said to have a large inventory of headsets, and its challenge for 2025 is to shift all of these unsold products. Now, there was also mention at one point they're going to try to make a cheaper.
Okay, so it looks like, whoops, Twisted Metal development, hell, I guess. Bro, what the fuck? Yeah, it's in like development hell. So, um, what was the other one? Oh, Killzone.
Revision of the Vision Pro. I haven't really heard much about that, and some have said that it's kind of fizzled out in the background to where they're not moving forward with it. Apparently, the
Oh wow.
cheaper revision would have been like $2,000.
Oh
So
well.
they're still missing the point of like what the Quest 3 has been able to do, which is come in at a more manageable price point where you don't need so Sony's biggest thing, their issue is you need a PlayStation 5 for it. I think these all-in-one headsets, which technically, yes, the Vision Pro is that, though you need something connected and then attached to your belt, right? Or just laying next to you. But the Quest 3 comes in at a better price point. It's like $500 or less. Okay, all in, that's something I can at least contend with. $3,500 before tax is a bit more difficult to take a chance on, right? So that's something I think Apple needs to figure out. They want to have that premium, quote unquote, feel and just overall presence in these different sectors. But with VR, it's kind of difficult to do that because you're already working towards a smaller, maybe more niche crowd. And then you're also going into a niche in that niche crowd with this really expensive stuff. And then you end up with a bunch of Vision Pros in a warehouse somewhere they're going to be unable to sell and try to do so in 2025, which the only thing I can assume is bundling it in with other things that are incredibly expensive or doing
No.
massive price cuts to try to move it.
Nah, what they're gonna do is they're gonna cut the price and sell them in huge bulk things for schools and shit. I bet schools, anything that needs like a visualizer, like a driving school, or I don't even know. You could do a lot with those things. Like you can't really do a lot with those with like one, but if you had a whole bunch of them, like you could run all sorts of types of like training and stuff with those. I think that's the biggest thing it could be used for. But I mean, I think Apple even said themselves that it wasn't even like they were expecting to sell a lot, right? It was basically just like to get the hardware out there and that to push the innovation, I think. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. I could be right. Oh, why would you see me tonight? Tonight. Oops, I did it again. I played with your heart. Got lost in the sauce. Leave Britney alone. That's crazy how that girl, that guy, that was a guy, right? Or no, that was a girl. No, I don't even remember. Man, that was a long time ago. Who did that? Leave Britney alone. Is it Chris Christopherson? Is that his name? I'm probably getting this fucking horribly wrong, and I'm calling somebody else out. Uh,
And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, which is Game of the Year Madness. That's day 13, Metaphor versus Mario Party Jamboree, and Metaphor took this one handily, kind of as expected. Look, Mario Party to me, fun games, right? They are. They're great party games, clearly. They've been kind of, I don't know if it's just me, they've just been sort of
rinse and
becoming,
repeat.
they feel very samey, and it's always kind of been like
Yeah,
that after a
man.
little while with a new platform out, and you get them kind of stacked every few years or so. You end up with a bunch of them on platform. It's like, okay, that's cool. I already kind of have my Mario Party game for the
It's okay.
generation. It's like when the next system shows up and they have a Mario Party game, I'll probably check it out there because apparently they'll have a mouse feature. Who knows how that'll turn out? But it's going up against Metaphor, and Metaphor was touted as many people's game of the year. So I think this went about as expected. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Cryhound, who says, I don't want leaks, I want a reveal. Trust me, I see it a lot. People are getting tired of all the stuff getting thrown around out there. Look, if Nintendo had just moved to reveal this thing, even in like November, October, I look, the stuff would be
Yeah,
coming
like
out, but it
what
would
are
be
they
like, whoa,
doing?
this is incredible. Look at this. It might have a mouse functionality. You know, I mean, you see the size of the Joy Cons. What's going on with the side of the Switch? The person's holding up sideways, and it's got an AI background. It's like these are the rabbit holes people are going down. Whereas Nintendo could have just dropped the trailer in the Switch's 7th year and put it all to rest and be like, okay, here's the plan. We'll see you guys next year. I understand the holiday sale stuff, but they already cut the Switch down to like low 200s in some cases with the Black Friday deals and then some of the price promotions on top of
Damn,
that.
they were that
So
cheap?
it's just, that's where we are. People
Fuck.
want information on it. Nintendo's still kind of holding out. So apparently we have to turn to Reddit and a random factory somewhere in China announcing it for them. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today.
Whoever
if you
leaked
missed
that
the
must
end of last
hopefully
week's
got a
Newswave, I'll leave that up
shitload of
here in
money
the
for
card.
that
Or
picture.
maybe you want to hear some of my thoughts as to how Nintendo could actually still shock people with some game reveals similar to what happened with Doom 2016 back when it was first shown on the Switch. This time, though, maybe involving another platform holder. I'll leave that right below. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'm glad I went with this option of like doing the colors first and then the black on top of it, because that makes it look so much cleaner. No matter how close you get with the color, it'll always like overlap and look crappy. But and then I'm somehow gonna have to mask off all these colored parts to I'm gonna put a background on this that's like a basically gonna look like stars. I do it in some of my other paintings. Seeing if I have another one around here that has it on it. And this is not really a great example of it, but this one just has red and yellow ones, but it's basically like speckles. So, but it's not going to be in those colors. I'm going to do something different with this one. I'm really trying to make, trying to experiment with some new techniques since the gold mine kind of version of this painting sold at the last art show. So I'm like, it seemed like people liked that one, or at least one person did. I don't wanna live. I just realized that the YouTube video stopped playing on my computer. It sounds like the washer is spinning, spinning. Oh God. No, thank you, Cataclysm. Uh, what do you think? Should we watch Tom Dark? I feel bad reacting to reactions. Oh, okay, here we go.
CRT tube TVs have been irrelevant for so
Shout
long
out to
that I have
LTT.
people working for me who have never used one. But in a lot of ways, they are still number one. I mean, look at this little buddy right here. Zero latency, stellar motion clarity, and inky blacks. Not only that, but look at the way its unique properties blend blocky, ugly sprites into art. Take a mere 256 colors and turn them into a digital rainbow. Just sucks they come in such giant, heavy packages that... Wait a minute! That's not a CRT! This is just an OLED in disguise! Really convincing though. What dark magic is this? RetroTink 4K dark magic! Hey look, it's that guy! This is admittedly a pretty niche product, but I don't think I care if it gets views. It's really cool. Or at least on paper it is. They claim it's the best and most versatile retro video game scaler to ever hit the market. And after using it for a few weeks, we're left wondering, is it finally time to stop hoarding these bad boys and stop hoarding all these messages we could give you from our sponsor.
Build Redux. They make it a breeze to customize your own personalized build with support guides and a bunch of configuration options. Just throw stuff in there. Just put a power supply in there. Head to buildredux.com/Linus and start your new build today.
You may already know that a scaler scales one input resolution to a different, usually higher, output resolution. But like with anything, not all scalars are created equal, and this is most apparent when you watch your modern TV struggle with older content, like the approximately 240p that is coming out of this Sega Genesis. And I mean, I kind of get it. Why would TV manufacturers bother to invest in a feature that most...
You know what blows my mind? Is that I go on Twitch sometimes or YouTube and I'll go on the live section and literally there'll be somebody in there from freaking whatever third world country laying on a bed, like looking mad weird, like uncomfortable, but like wearing see-through stuff and just going like shaking out of camera view so it looks like they're like it's the weirdest fucking thing. And there'll be like 300 people watching it. And I'm like, why, number one, why? What, like, what? You're already on the internet, so why? But, I feel like the more you try on the internet, the less it ends up working out. I feel like the less, it's almost like it has to be authentic and like it authentically has to go viral. I feel like it's very hard to engineer something to go viral. It's possible because obviously people do that all the time, like companies do that. But it just it's crazy to me how all this shit works and what gets clicks and like how it changes like the course of history basically. I don't know. I was watching an interview with I Show Speed, and he was basically just saying like 2020. I started my streaming journey. I had 2 viewers, and then he was just like it went up from there. And I mean, like that's crazy. That's 5 years, less than 5 years ago. So I don't know. The more I see these things, the more I'm just like, damn, man, fuck it, you know. I'm not getting any younger. I might as well try and do this shit. I'm really trying not to overdo it, because I don't want to seem like I'm trying too hard. I really genuinely just want to do this because I enjoy it. But like, dude, if I can make money while enjoying what I do, is that not the goal of everybody? So that's my ultimate goal with this is that, man, if I can make people happy or at least entertain people for the most part, and you walk away with a positive or even just better emotional state than you were when you left or than when you got here, I think that's like awesome. And then on top of it, if I get paid for it, that just means the amount of shit I could do on stream is so, like, I have so many ideas. But I know I'm not the only one out there. I know I'm just talking into the void right now. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, especially even on this website that take it for granted 100%. It's wild to see that. It's wild to see people let their ego and just I guess, greed take over. You know? Like the Neons and Jack Dohertys of the world. It's like, damn, man. If you just stopped and thought for a second, you could have had it all and a good image. And now you're just, fuck. Anyway, rant over. Sorry.
People won't notice, but come on, guys, to show you just
actually-
how bad it is.
Sorry, but that's what I wanted to say. Just anybody who's watching, anybody who I guess watches this back, maybe, thank you for taking the time out of your day or night to just like even stop by in here and watch is all I can ask for. So just want to say thank you to anybody who stops by. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Let's have a look at how a $1,300 OLED TV fares using its internal scaler against a random CRT that we got for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. Hey, finally.
Scouting report.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Look at his face. Like that.
Looks like a picture.
Almost like a TV feed from that era. Whereas that's just like a mess of reddishness.
Why did we leave that one stretched?
It's you don't have much options when you use little boxes like this.
That's why you were going off on this when we saw this during Adam's upgrade.
This entire video is just a slam dunk on this.
Something you wouldn't expect the scaler to affect based on its name is the color representation. But it is amazing knowing that these are accurate displays. How far off they are. I mean, the ice is green.
Yeah, Brandon's even calibrated these two so we can trust that they're exactly right.
I don't notice any issues with input latency on the CRT. Obviously, it's lightning fast, but there's definitely a bit of lag on this top left one.
Oh yeah. We're gonna swap the direct one to a retro tank.
Ooh, oh, wow. I didn't realize how bad the latency was on here because I just kind of compensated for it, I think.
And then all of a sudden it's playable.
Huh. Now the color is not matching our CRT at all.
It's very hard to match the CRT on every game. We can mess with it, and that's one of the joys of the RetroTink is that you can tink with it all day long. There is so many settings that we can get into, including color correction and stuff.
Whatever deficiencies or even just differences that it might have in color though, there is no question in my mind that it is a super clean image, and yet it still looks CRT-y.
This is just a quick and dirty mask and filter that I've set up for the Genesis. This is also kind of the worst case scenario for the RetroTink. Mike Chi, the creator of RetroTink, likes composite image, and there's kind of like a mystique to the blurriness of composite. But as a general rule, everything else is better. And so the fact that it can make this look as decent as it does is kind of incredible. You gotta get a goal, man.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can score. I'm tying this game. Otherwise we riot.
No. Oh, cut it.
It's impossible to get everyone to agree on what looks best, but I think what we can all agree on is that both of the larger OLEDs looked awful, and they feel awful. We measured about 45 milliseconds of added input latency when connecting a composite source directly to the TV or through that little piece of crap scaler. For context, the highest input latency that we measured from the rest of the scalers that we're going to be talking about and showing today is 1/5 of that. There are a surprising number of options out there, and many of them are excellent, but they have always had their compromises, like no support for 4K. So the RetroTink 4K's claim to fame is, surprise, surprise, it's the world's first 4K scaler for retro games. In our opinion, that's not even the best thing about it. Powered by a Cyclone 5 series FPGA, the RetroTink 4K has cutting-edge CRT phosphor emulation filters, imperceptible processing delay, and it has some of the most robust I/O on a single consumer device that we have ever seen. It's powered by USB-C, which is really nice. It's got SCART, RCA, and a brand new VGA port, which was missing from the previous Top Dog RetroTink 5X. And each of these can handle a variety of analog video standards with inexpensive adapters. Mike, the creator of RetroTink,
Wow, I
even
could totally
added
play that.
extra composite and S-video to the front, which means you don't have to share your RCA jacks between your component and your composite anymore. It's got
Stop
Toslink
shaking.
as well as a 3.5mm audio jack here, which can be assigned to any of your video inputs. It's
Alright,
got
that
an
works.
HDMI output to go to your TV, and what's this? An HDMI input? Now why, you might ask, would a retro gamer need an HDMI input? Well, not to make you feel old or anything,
Need my
but the PS3 with its
retard.
HDMI output came out 17 years ago. Not only that, but we've also seen an increase in HDMI-equipped older consoles. Some of these are coming in the form of mini re-releases, some are third-party recreations, and some are just aftermarket mods to original consoles. The bottom line here is, HDMI is the standard, and it unlocks a lot of new possibilities. Like pairing up your RetroTink with a Mr. FPGA for the ultimate in retro gaming goodness. I'm about to try it. Probably cry a little bit. But first, I actually want to show off our retro battle station here. It might not look like much from this side, but this monster is capable of playing any of our systems simultaneously across 4 TVs without any loss in image quality. And
Damn.
a big part of that is thanks to this guy. When we told AV Pro Edge what we were trying to do, they sent over this ludicrously overpowered 8K HDR, 8 input, 8 output HDMI matrix switcher.
Holy fuck.
Huge thank you to those guys. And I'd love to talk about all the other little pieces that we have going on here, but it gets pretty in the weeds, so instead we're gonna have a Floatplane exclusive where David is gonna walk
Damn,
you
you should
through
have just
the
put
whole
it
setup.
on there.
lmg.gg/floatplane.
Bro,
For now,
put it on YouTube.
let's game.
This is the part of the video where if you're anything like me, you're gonna fall deeply in love with the RetroTink. When you have a chance
I would
to
love to
customize
stream
your
on
mask and
Floatplane.
all the settings to your preference, you'll start to see how powerful this thing really is. This is how I set it for my own eyes. And what I found with people kind of walking around and giving their perspective is people have very different preferences. To me, this looks so much better than the raw Mister, but some people like that pixel perfect look. But no, right? It looks so much better.
This has that TV look. That looks awesome.
It looks great.
Why would I ever even look at these? And you can really see the age of these CRTs and some of the just off highlights, like the red hat.
Yeah.
I can't even see any of the detail in it, but this is clean,
Yeah.
but also still has that CRT look to it.
It's a tragedy that CRTs are just gonna kind of fade away, and they're gonna only get worse and worse.
Yeah, you can't really make them
every time
anymore,
they're
right?
used. And it's kind of nice to know that we're finally getting to the point with scalers where
We don't have to be sad.
yeah, we don't have to be sad. Well, I mean, the fact that you just want to keep playing on this screen, like you don't even look at the CRTs,
No.
is a good sign.
No, there's no reason to look at them. Like, this is just freaking awesome.
And what I find is so nice with modern devices is just the consistency. I know when I turn it on, it's gonna be good. With that cheap CRT, every time I came back to it, it would look different. Sometimes it would have like scan lines going up.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah,
it would
just
be like
gotta
the
warm
capacitors
up
are
and
going.
shit.
Right now it's a little flickery. It's actually doing pretty good. But it's like the temperature, you know, the way I look at it, it changes what that image is gonna look like. Whereas every time I turn on a RetroTink in this OLED, it's gonna look exactly how I said it.
Holy David. I have never gotten all 5 in my entire life.
Dun, 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 dun.
No way! Am I supposed to? The script is just rolling. We're going completely off script here, boys.
Well, here's the 4K remote versus the 5X remote.
So they did a remote this time.
They did a remote this time. It's actually so useful.
I could just be like, nah, dog, how about 1080p?
Well, it's actually, well, that doesn't look great, but it's kind of a huge deal. When I first got my RetroTink 5X, it was defaulting to 1440p, but I had a TV that didn't accept 1440p image. And so it like would come in one frame every like 3 seconds.
So this would have saved you.
Just one button press, boom.
That's just through the Mister without the
That's just the
FPGA.
Mister.
Yeah, so it's got that super, super clean, sharp. I mean, honestly, yeah, sure. I could play on that too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a CRT.
So we don't need to change the input, although we could look at it. The profile, right now it's my like Mr. profile that I've kind of
Why
quickly
am I
set.
always off the screen?
The ones where I would start, where it's the most fun, is the image processing. So there's a scan line and a mask. The scan line, it's emulating scan lines, but there's quite a bit of control within it. The masks are like that simulation of, you know, the aperture grill and the phosphor lights kind of interacting. And then there's a horizontal blur, which I think is actually kind of like the little salt that you add at the end to make it all kind of come together.
Oh yeah, otherwise it just looks too sharp. And this is why 4K is so important for this, because you actually have the pixel density on this display to use pixels as individual phosphor colors. I mean, if you look at certain diagrams of how shadow mask versus aperture grill worked, this is basically it. It was either a grill of vertical lines like this, or it was like a perforated plate.
We've had shadow masks before, like even the Mister has shadow masks, but they've never been this detailed because, like you said, we've never had 4K, and you need that amount of pixel to be able to push that detail that you would see on a CRT. HDR is already on. We can turn it off just so you can get an idea how much the RetroTink is designed for HDR displays. When you add the scan lines and the mask, it adds a lot of black to the image.
Yeah.
And so it darkens it a ton. And so without HDR, it becomes really, really dark.
With HDR, it pops like a phosphor glowing at the front of a display, but without it, it's... But with the masks, you get that, it really does look like a phosphor glow.
I really liked on the 5X that it was kind of just plug and play. I never really thought too much about it. I kind of said it once, you know, it worked. But the amount of fun I've had messing around with these settings is insane. It's been so fun. One thing to mention before someone in the comments does is the Mister can do direct video where you get the actual resolution of the game outputted natively. We could unplug and plug directly into a RetroTink, but it won't work with our matrices. It's just not gonna play nice. Direct video generally has bad compatibility.
This looks like you've got smoothing on.
Yeah, so that's basically what, you don't like it?
That's a yikes.
I like it. I like, so there's a more sophisticated one you can get than
Why would you
this.
put
It
smoothing
looks like
on?
one of those cheap AI filters that you can apply to graphics. And
I
make,
hate
like,
motion
photo
smoothing.
painting or whatever.
It's a little more sophisticated than that, but I definitely understand why people don't like it. There's no wrong options here, except whatever.
Except that.
Except that.
Except for that one.
Now I noticed there's an SD card, but unlike the Mr. FPGA, this is not a console, so you're not keeping ROMs or anything on there.
No, it's primarily for updating the firmware as well as putting profiles on it. You can create profiles on the RetroTink, save them to the card, put them on a computer, modify them, but you can also download a ton online. The RetroTink community is very active. There's already a ton of people working on getting kind of ideal per console, per game settings. And then you can let them do the work and enjoy the fruits of their labor.
And I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I could think about it. A lot.
You like the RetroTink more than even the CRT.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. It's so bright. The colors are so right.
Blur artifacting is a little bit annoying. I'm hoping that maybe there can be like some filter that's added onto it to prevent that. But most of the time when you're in a busy screen, you don't see
I
it.
don't notice when I'm actually playing. I only notice when I'm watching.
100%.
They carefully kept me away from this area for the last couple of weeks, so I didn't get a chance to check this out before. But now that I have, there's no question in my mind, I would rather play on a modern OLED with these filters than on a CRT, even if it was in its prime, and literally none of them are anymore. Adding HDMI to the RetroTink might be the most meaningful upgrade over the 5X. Oh, the resolution matters a lot though too. I don't know, they're both really great. But we haven't even seen its full capabilities. Let's test that port even further with an HDMI console that might not be retro, but also isn't really properly modern, given it not only can't hit 4K, but can barely even do 1080p most of the time.
What is it?
The Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
Now, hold on a second. Is it doing some kind of SDR to HDR tone mapping here?
It seems to be doing that, because this is, raw out of the Switch. But as it is now, this looks, that looks right. That looks bad.
Markedly better.
We can agree, you probably don't want to put like scan lines or masks or anything on a game like this. But what I was curious was, is the scaling of the RetroTink better than what the Switch can do in conjunction with a TV? You can't really tell from this far back. it looks basically the same. But if you get up close and personal, you can actually see that the RetroTink one will be a little bit sharper.
You know, I don't think I'm a fan. You get an increase in sharpness using the RetroTink to scale, but you also get a bit more stair step. It depends what you're looking at. This is one of those ones where I really don't think there's a right or a wrong answer.
I totally agree. It's going to be a preference thing.
Yeah. Like this is a bit shimmerier in its dealing with aliasing, whereas this is a bit blurrier in its dealing with aliasing. And neither is desirable. Obviously, it'd be great if Nintendo just released a console that could run their flipping games at a decent resolution. But I find this less distracting.
You know,
I wonder if
it does seem like we're getting pretty close to to a time where we're not going to have to choose in the game settings of like a AAA game whether you want performance or you want quality or you want balance. I think finally we will have games where it is just all out bananas, like you want full, at least on console. Obviously on PC you can do whatever you want to do, but on console, that's what people want. They want faster loading games, they want better graphics, but with very smooth frame rates. Because if you have super good graphics, but the frame rate's shitty, it pulls the immersion out so bad. I feel like that's one of the problems with Control, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's Control I'm thinking of, where it like literally is a beautiful game, but I'm pretty sure it runs at 24 frames or 30, whatever it is. We need 60 plus frames a second, lock or more.
part of it too is that we're sitting a little bit too close to these for how low res this content is.
That's totally fair.
And the smaller display with that pleasing blurriness, the round pixels, guys, it makes a big difference. Makes this look not sharper, obviously, but more natural. Yeah, like you can see that distant tower. See the aliasing as I'm moving back and forth?
Oh yeah. It's still
on the
there,
CRT, it's there, but
it's not so much less
it's
bad.
not bothersome.
No.
You know what? I can't say that I actually like the that kind of judder and that super, super high motion clarity at 30 FPS.
It's not, yeah.
It's a little distracting.
That's totally fair. That was probably the one slight disappointment of my experience with the RetroTink, is that it doesn't save 720p gaming. I thought it was gonna maybe like bring it into the next generation. Not quite, like obviously that's a little bit excessive, but
more for under 720p.
yeah. I think 480p is a big use case. And it does make 720p sharper, but I did try gaming on the PS5 through the RetroTink. The RetroTink can only handle 1080p, so if you give it 4K, it just won't work. And if you send HDR through it, it'll strip the HDR, even if it tries to put it back in after, and it just loses all color, looks terrible. And so you want to send it 1080p SDR, and then it can do its thing at the highest.
It's almost like it was right in the name. It's the RetroTink, plug a modern console into it, you're gonna have a pretty bad time.
I really want to use a
One thing we noticed, regardless of the generation of console,
rush.
is the input latency, or rather, the lack of it. We measured the RetroTink in a
That should
variety
work,
of
actually.
modes, and
This
we
is
saw
huge.
less than a millisecond in the 60 hertz mode, and about 8.5 milliseconds in the 120 hertz mode, which, funnily enough, ends up being almost identical end to end, because 120 hertz is about 8 milliseconds faster than 60 hertz
Oh, that's
per
way
refresh.
better.
But wait a second. Did we just gloss over the RetroTink 4K support for 120 hertz in both 1080p and 1440p? Well, we have it now. It even has support for variable refresh rate and support for black frame insertion for better motion clarity. So now there's questions that we have to answer. Do we maximize our resolution with our scaler, or do we go for higher refresh rates, but at lower resolutions?
I hate that.
And that's why we're gonna do Dreamcast and Neo Geo now.
Yes, that looks much better to me.
I
than
hate that
the-
trade-off.
than
They
the
need to.
Switch did
That's what
at
I'm
one
saying.
point.
They need to remove that trade-off.
Yeah, like that looks totally great.
That looks awesome. Honestly, I don't even like this on the HD CRT.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. It looks smeary. It looks like an LCD.
All right,
This
now
looks
that I can
great.
do that,
It looks
I
better
might
than the
as well just-
CRT.
Yeah. The real test,
Here, we'll do
honestly,
over
is
here.
just to put people in front of the 4 and then just see which one they're looking at. Because different games, it's not purely ergonomic. Different games, I have 100% found myself looking at different displays.
Yeah, I think we're both just
Yeah.
always looking at this one.
Just not interested in looking at anything else.
Because it's still got that clean look. Like it doesn't look blurry at all, but it softens it and it just looks right.
When my opponents go high, I go low. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Rude. If your preference is absolute maximum motion clarity, then 120 hertz with black frame insertion might be a good option for you. But I think both David and I are aligned on that if you're planning to use CRT filters, which hopefully you are because you just spent a lot of money on a device that is solely designed for that, then you're probably better off sticking with 4K. The mask details just look so much better at that higher resolution, and there's no question, this is the closest we've seen an OLED get to the look of a CRT. Did it ever occur to us to try it on the 8K OLED?
No.
Oh damn.
David, I heard you have a challenge for me.
Yes, I do. It's time to play CRT or Wannabe.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I got macro shots of different screens playing the same game. So this is OLED with a RetroTink versus the CRT. And honestly,
Give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a
I've
sec.
forgotten which one is which.
I think that's the OLED.
You are incorrect.
I don't have a sense of the scale of these images,
Yeah.
which makes it a little bit tougher.
That's
but
fair.
the reason I chose that one was it seemed like the area in between the subpixels was so black that it would have had to be like OLED black, like a filter. But then that's one of the advantages of CRT is that anywhere where the phosphors aren't glowing, it's black. OLED.
Yeah, you're right. That's the OLED. That's the
Say
CRT.
RT.
RetroTink.
Oh, okay. OLED. Crap.
CRT. Okay, now there's an HD CRT in the mix. So there's one CRT, one RetroTink, one HD
Okay,
CRT.
well the HD CRT is the bottom middle.
Because it looks so raw.
Freaking obvious, right? So that would be using aperture grill.
Yeah.
And it just looks so sharp and yet so
So blurry.
delightfully blurred. You know, it's. I think the top right is the RetroTink. No, shoot. No,
What is
no,
your gut?
no, wait,
Follow
no.
your gut. Follow your gut.
No, no, no. It's the CRT.
Yes, you were right.
It's got to be the real CRT on the left.
Yes.
Okay,
And
but what did we do to the RetroTink to make it look so weird here?
I maximized the filters. When I set it to like what looked best to my eye, it was too clear. It was a little too easy to tell.
Oh, got it.
But then when I maximize everything, then it's a little bit harder to tell.
So that's not representative of the best case scenario for what a RetroTink would look like if you dialed it in. He's more just making me choose what is an actual display versus what is playing around with filters on it. Got it. This one's tough. I think that's the RetroTink top right, but it looks better.
yes, you were right.
These pixels aren't real. Like the subpixel layout is not real, it's fake. But it looks like a macro of a display at all, which is I guess half the point here.
100%.
If I hadn't already seen how good the RetroTink can look, I would have been blown away even more by how close it got to emulating the look of a CRT. But one way that CRTs have maintained a lead over modern displays is how they handle interlaced resolution content. Now you may already know that interlaced simply means alternating between the odd and even horizontal lines of an image on each frame, which is really difficult to do, especially at non-native resolutions on a modern display. But the RetroTink should help us compensate. We've gone PS2 then?
PS2, God of War. I chose it because you can turn on and off progressive or interlaced. That makes it a good test for how the deinterlacing is on both RetroTinks.
Got it. There's no question in my mind right now that the HD CRT running through the RetroTink 5X looks the best here, and it again comes down to that pleasing blurriness.
Yeah.
But this game in interlace mode, could it look better here? I definitely like the increased pop from being able to run that OLED in HDR mode.
Yes.
That looks better than the CRT, no question.
Okay, so this is
Lol.
progressive. It looks pretty good on all these things considering how old of a game this is.
You can almost tell, though, that it's not quite right. Okay, like the flames in the background, though, and like
You're right. The extra brightness on those.
the extra pop.
Yeah.
I might take that over the softer looking lighting. Like the sky, I think, is a perfect place to look, where you get this vibrancy in the color on the OLED through the RetroTink. You get this reduced banding almost in the appearance on the old CRT.
I think it's incredible that the RetroTink is within shooting distance on something that the CRT has kicked ass at before. And it makes it that like you really don't need a CRT anymore. There's still
text,
advanced.
dude, even text.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, text just looks like a big, blocky, ugly mess. And then all of a sudden, you know, you throw it on a CRT, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I guess it was readable, and they were just compensating for the display technology of the time. But it looks right, like that hit counter. It looks right. Even up close, dude, it's really convincing.
Yeah.
But these have their strengths too, and I think the bottom line, guys, is that no one setup is always going to be the best, and there's going to be some subjectivity based on a billion different factors, even things like the environment you're going to be sitting in. David made a really good point earlier that this CRT is not at its blackest in the blacks because it's picking up some reflections off of our gray floor here, and anti-glare glass has come a long way in the last 25 years. The good news, though, is that for anyone but the purest of purists, the RetroTink 4K is going to get you so close that you probably won't miss your giant 200-pound tube TV. There are still some challenges. The newest OLED displays, for example, you might have been wondering, why are we using a
happened to that?
C1 and a C10?
Actually,
The new ones use a
I actually used to have um it's crazy because I keep seeing this YouTube video of somebody who found like this huge tube TV that they've been searching for, but I swear I had a, I want to say it was a Sharp. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a browser. Pretty sure it was a Sharp, and it was the biggest TV you have ever like. It took It was a tube TV. It took 3 or 4 grown like men to lift this fucking thing. We couldn't leave it on the first floor of our old house because it would fall through. So we ended up having it in the basement. And so let me see if I can find it. Dude, it's fucking hilarious how big this thing was. And I don't know where I think we must have got rid of it on a tag sale and somebody came into down and like grabbed it with like a bunch of people. But hold on, let's see. Where's the window capture? There we go.
What
Whoops.
did Big Daddy
Whoa, whoa,
Kang
whoa,
say?
whoa. Jesus. All right, so whoops. Oh my God, please stop. Please stop. Oh my God. I just want to look something up, man. Why? Bro, Windows, chill. Chill, dude. Chill. Okay. Holy fuck. All right, 1 second. Good lord. Jesus Christ. I already forgot what I was doing. What was it? Oh my God, I'm having a mind blank. Okay, Sharp. Jesus Christ. Sharp. Huge. Oop, Tube TV. Um, was it 27 inches? I think it was. No, it was bigger than that. It's like that big. 36 maybe? How did they measure them back then? Hold on, 32 maybe? 32. What's this one? It wasn't flat on the front. I remember that. It was definitely like a bowed out, humongous tube TV. Like, and the back of it, I'm not even joking, was probably deeper than it was wide, which is even crazier. Um, Hold on. Maybe it wasn't. No, it was a shark. Hold on. See, all these ones look. It might have been a Sony, actually. Now that I'm thinking of it, hold on. Sony huge tube TV. Look at it. It's weird because I actually had two. I did. Oh fuck! I had this Sony one too. Oh wait! I think I found it. Picture. It looks weird though. Oh, picture's been deleted. Good lord. Give me a break, man. Oh, maybe it was like that. Okay, yeah, I'm conflating two to. Oh my god, I found it. It was a Triniton. Okay. Sony. Pretty sure. Yep, I remember that fucking thing. Okay, I remember. Here we go. Why is that like blue and green or purple, pink? Jesus. Ah! Alright, so check this out. It was this TV right here, but that's showing a 29 inch. One sec. Bro, I'm not even joking. It had to have been 500 pounds. It was the heaviest thing I've ever experienced. These don't look that big though. Like, I swear to God, the thing was like unmovable. Let's see. What's the largest one they had? What, 42? It's crazy that they made that shit. See, that's the YouTube video I was talking about. I'm pretty sure that's the same type I had, but I swear it was even bigger than that. I also remember having one of those. But yeah, you know what? I just realized before I got this laptop, I had a whole plan on one second. Give me 1 second. We were right by hold on, I'm gonna throw it on break. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get something. Okay. Good boy. All right. All right, we're back. So yeah, I it's actually was my first computer. Um, but hasn't worked in a couple years. Well, no, it did work. But I tried like updating the operating system or some stupid shit like that. I was trying to do something dumb. Um, but yeah, I got this in 2006, and fucking love this thing. The problem is that I don't have a keyboard, and the only keyboard I have is PSP ports on it. And I could get a PSP port to HDMI, I'm guessing. And yeah, I mean, this thing has FireWire and everything. But from what I remember, I cannot get this working because it just boot loops continually. Like it just like it's like boom. So I was trying to see how you would install um Mac OS on this. And I think I needed a laptop at that time to do it. But maybe we'll try doing that as like a thing on the stream. Try to fix that thing. Be a cool little thing to have in the background. Here, you know what?
A different black
Play
frame
this.
insertion method that is less CRT-like. So you might have to go and find an older one if you care about that, which is gonna, dang it, are we
sorry.
gonna create another bloody hoarding gold rush, but this time on older OLEDs? Or maybe not, because you'll also be giving up some brightness compared to the very latest OLEDs. But then again, for the purists, so has your CRT that's been sitting for a quarter of a century or so. So maybe it's time to get with the times. Except, it's gonna cost you more than just time. The good news is you don't need any of the other stuff like that fancy HDMI matrix. All you need is the RetroTink 4K. The bad news is it's $750 US. That is so expensive that it makes the $325 for the old 5X sound like an absolute bargain. But, and yes, I'm doing that again, when you consider the costs associated with building this thing, it doesn't look that unreasonable anymore. The Cyclone 5 FPGA in here alone is listed for around $260 on DigiKey, and a full board with that processor is going to cost you upwards of $1,000,
I have
which
a USB drive.
totally ignores the
I do.
development costs of bringing something like this to life. So it's not some made-up scam number. And besides, the existence of a new high-end product doesn't make the more affordable or the older ones worse. If anything, it might hopefully put some downward pricing pressure on them in the long term. And even now, an OSSC or a GBSC is more than enough for most people, and that last one can be had for around $50. Also, the RetroTink 5X, still a phenomenal scaler if you don't need HDMI or that higher resolution. But if you like what you saw, and a lot of you apparently do, and you want 4K along with the improved CRT filters, the extra I/O, and quality of life things like the better remote, we think this thing is super cool, and we're gonna have a link to where you can buy it down below when it comes back in stock. What we do have in stock, though, is this segue to our sponsor.
Grammarly. Here at Linus Media Group, not everyone is a professional writer. Some employees are normal, but they don't have to let that hold them back, thanks to Grammarly. Their generative AI assistance helps our business team write emails and brand copy better so they can get their work done faster. And it can help you too. If you're ever stuck on writing, Grammarly can get you started with ideas, outlines, and even tips. Plus, with Grammarly's rewrite feature, you can transform sentences that would have put someone to sleep into something clear and engaging. But that's not all. Grammarly's reply feature can help you summarize emails and suggest responses for more efficient and comprehensible communication. And if you're concerned about your data, you should know Grammarly is too. You can view all of your data at any time by requesting a personal data report. To try out Grammarly for free, sign up for an account at grammarly.com/LTT01. And if you want to get access to extra features, you'll get 20% off Grammarly Premium.
All right, so that sounds pretty cool. I think we'll make that a stream thing. Maybe next stream we'll do a whole thing about planning on fixing this or diagnosing it and trying to see if we can get it running. Because I know I upgraded the RAM. This thing's dope. I mean, this thing was fucking expensive when it came out. I think I even still have the box, but the the mouse and the keyboard are gone. Obviously, I have a mouse I can work with this, but keyboard is the problem. I have a keyboard, but it has PS2 ports. Yeah, let's see. Do keyboards I wonder if you can do that? Like, is there a way to do PS2 keyboard to USB adapter? I mean, it's probably more than a cheap ass um thing to be. Oh shit, they do. Or wait, no. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's a PS2 that goes into a adapter. But I'm pretty sure you could get a super cheap. Talk to me here. Wow, I am losing my mind today. Super cheap keyboard. I'll see the cheapest keyboard they got. It must be ridiculous. 16, 12. Oh, come on. I was thinking of like 5. Oh, 9. What is it in like a different language? 9. The cheapest one? Let's see. Price 0 to $9. Go. Bro. $7. Oh my god. 666. Oh, it's keycaps, never mind. Wait, what? Oh, that's fucked up, man. They're saying keycaps, but this wireless. There we go. $6.99. Premium wired keyboard. No way. Ultra thin, quiet, touch. Bro, it looks like you can break this thing in half. I wonder how much an old iMac keyboard is. 2006 iMac keyboard. God damn. All right, that's actually not too bad. I think this thing is only like $50 on eBay, which is bananas to me. This thing with the keyboard would be like $30 on 20 bucks on eBay. Shit, I might as well just buy the original one, huh? Oh, they get so dirty though. How much are they charging for one of these fucking things? 2016 iMac. That's not a 2016. That's not a 2016. That's not. Oh, I said 2016. Dyslexia happens when you don't even have it. Bro, are you kidding me? Hold on. Let me show you. Let me show you the shit. Get over here. Do it, man. Stop being a bitch. Alright. Bro, Apple iMac 2007, 1 gig RAM, 250, Snow Leopard Extreme with the fucking base station set for $100. Oh my god, look how clean that is. I don't even know which one mine is. Mine's a dual core, I think. I honestly don't remember, but I definitely upgraded the RAM. I know that. Snow Leopard, okay. Oh, here we go. Use working. Oh man, I would love to get this thing running again. I doubt I could get anything off the hard drive because I'm pretty sure this thing got completely wiped at one point. But yeah, after this stream, I'm gonna try and like boot that thing up or see if it boots up or what it's been doing. But yeah, actually, I have to end the stream pretty much right now. So um, I think I'm gonna go back on later today. But if uh, if everybody enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit follow and don't forget to check out the streams later on. That was cringe. I apologize for that. But here's the outro. Alright. But for real, thank you to anybody who stops by and watches. I know I'm awkward and weird and have no teeth and I ramble a lot. But shout out to the big guy, 19,999. Always making my day, stopping by. I will see you all later. Peace. Hold on. Hold on a second. We have technical difficulties. Oh. Oh. Holy Christ. Oh, wait, just one. Here, we're just gonna let that play one more time. Are we? Yes. Okay.